Hello, welcome to What the Feminine, where we will show the world how to have crucial, nuanced conversations and how healthy feminine and masculine embodiment are the gateway to global healing. I'm Nicole George, the CEO and founder of Sovereign Magazine, and as the host and moderator of this show, I'd like to remind our guests and audience that the questions posed in today's episode are neither a reflection of my personal beliefs, thoughts, ideologies, nor of Sovereign Magazine, but they are simply a guide for us to go deeper into our own constructed beliefs and ask ourselves, how can we remain open and curious to being recoded to a more compassionate and cohesive way of living? The content in this episode could contain references to topics and difficult subject matter that may be triggering for you, so please, please, please honor yourself and inner knowing. Our show is never a substitute for any professional guidance and always seek the guidance from a certified professional. We have three amazing guests today from all over the world: Spain, UK, and Canada. Each of them is going to introduce themselves. They don't have to share where they're coming from unless they want to, because I just did. So why don't we start with you, Ebonie?
Hi, I am a fulfillment coach and a soul contract guide, and my work in the world is really about helping you to become full of yourself because, quite frankly, who the fuck else should you be full of? And I'm really bored of seeing people restricted and empty. I want to see people full of themselves, and I really believe that that is also nuanced. I love it when people have an opinion and are open to having their mind changed.
Yes, I love that. And she's in Spain right now. All right, why don't we go with you, Soph?
Hi guys, I'm Soph and I'm in the UK and I am a psychotherapist and astrologer. So I kind of combine that science and the soul because I do have a really logical brain. So things need to kind of make sense to me scientifically as well. Um, and like Ebonie, really, I just want people to, you know, live, the best life possible. And I'm really excited about this topic because even 6 months ago, this would have meant so much, something so different to me. So I'm really excited to get into it.
Thank you. All right, Terra.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to always be here. I am a healing coach and life strategist, and my work is predominantly with women that are looking to reclaim their self-worth. So self-acceptance is probably the deepest result of the work that I do. And I'm newly integrating human design into my work, as well as a couple other cool little things that are, and I really love that Soph said combining the science with the soul. I was like, that spoke to me in a really profound way. So I'm really excited to dig in on this level with these ladies.
Yes, yes. Well, Terra revealed it. We are talking about pathways to radical self acceptance today. And I always like to start with a foundational question because not everybody defines words or labels, if you will, in the same way. So, what does radical self acceptance mean or look like to you? Who wants to go first?
You
Go for it,
know,
Ebony.
you know, I'm always happy to start a conversation. Um, so I always think of a quote and a question that my dad, who is a psychotherapist and a big influence in my life, and I was lucky enough to grow up around spiritual teachings and astrology and psychology and gestalt and all of these things from birth, right? So this is a huge world that I have always been immersed in, and I realize that that is not everybody's foundation. But he used to say to me whenever I had issues of self worth or was getting into stuff about whether I am or am not what people were labeling me or calling me, or the judgments that I would make about other people or about myself, he would say, and even if you are that, can you love and accept yourself? And it's such a tenet of my work. It's such a like, when I work with the gene keys, when I work with frequency, I always see the shadow as the seed and the gift as the bloom and the city as the fruit, which then drops seeds and we're back again. And so the only constant really in life is that we will change and we will grow. And people will see us one way, either as a mirror, a messenger, or maybe medicine. And so there is no one truth. And people will project or maybe see you differently, and you may see yourself a certain way sometimes. And I'm a 5'2", by the way, so I get a lot of projections in my life. And for that reason, whenever these projections come into my world, I ask myself, and even if I am that, can I love and accept myself? And it's really helped me to release the contraction that comes when I really don't want to be something, and then find myself being it, because that's what happens when we're focusing on something, right?
Yeah, I love that. The contraction. Yes, so good. Who wants to go next?
I would love to build off of that. I'm a
Yeah.
3-5, so I'm open to that projection field as a 5 line. And so it's interesting. I'm moving into this space with my with what I'm delivering on, the platforms, is really around the acceptance that comes with being misunderstood and staying grounded within that. So the reflection on that is, I did not have deep self-acceptance because I was looking for that external acceptance. And that was forever reaching, because there was a lack of external acceptance in all of the spaces, whether it was men, women, mother, father, siblings, cousins, family. Like, it was rooted in, and it rooted in that lack of self, or lack of acceptance. Therefore, I wasn't accepting of self, because I was constantly trying to contort myself into what everybody else needed. And when I started doing this work for myself, it was really understanding that it's okay to be misunderstood. It's okay for people to have a narrative, or for me to be a villain in their story, because that's about them. That's not really about me. And so when I look at radical self-acceptance, it's exactly what Ebonie said. Like, even if that is the case, can I love myself within that? Can we love ourselves within the shadows? Can we love ourselves with the shadow self showing it and exposing itself? And being misunderstood could be deemed as a shadow. Being difficult. I had a client this morning, she says, everybody thinks I'm difficult. I said, difficult or just choosing not to conform? And there's two different, like, it's a more complex thing. And can we absolutely accept ourselves within that? And I just love that Ebonie spoke it so beautifully. It's like, then it's an add-on, because we do become the thing that we believe as our rooted belief. And it's, what rooted belief are we going to choose, and we're going to sit in acceptance with and heal through, so that we completely own ourselves and choose ourselves in full integrity.
I love that so much. And not only do I want to add one more word to your not willing to conform, but also I have learned is people don't like when you have preferences. They just want you to conform, because that's why I always end a question like, is that your preference? Does that feel aligned? Because that's important to me. It's important to me that it feels good to you. And, I asked something of Ebonie the other day, and she was like, yeah, that's not aligned. Didn't hurt my feelings at all. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. But I think when you're rooted in your own self-acceptance, it's not a reflection to you. When you want and care about other people's preferences, you don't need to perform. And I love that about you, Ebonie. You never perform. I love that. Soph, what do you think?
So for me, I'd always, from like a psychology DBT kind of point of view, I always got told like self-acceptance was just accepting reality as it was. And I found that really hard to deal with, because for me, acceptance always felt like I was saying I was okay with what was happening. And Nicole knows this, but my daughter was diagnosed with leukemia, and I was told that I have to radically accept this, and I couldn't accept it because it just felt so unfair. But actually, when I started looking at my birth chart and things from a soul contract point of view, I just had so much. For me, I would say it's about having that compassion for yourself, but like all parts of yourself, because once I looked at it from that angle, I just had so much compassion and self-acceptance for the child that I was and everything that I was going through now. And I was just able to completely look at things in a different way and see all parts of me as a gift or a lesson or places to grow. So yeah, I think that's
Mm,
what it is to me.
I love that so much. So we're talking a lot about what I would call more heady thinking mind stuff. How have you guys experienced radical self-acceptance in your body? Like we do so much talking and thinking and, shadow work and journaling and this, that, but I don't think we really connect it to the body in any way. So how do you feel it in the body, or how have you seen any of your clients feel it in the body?
I think I have a different frame of mind
I
with that
think
as I'm
sometimes
here.
in my
Oh,
That's okay. Let's do
no,
pterodon
carry on,
first
carry
and
on.
then go so.
I
Okay, so
think, I think, well, when, so depending on, I guess, who we are and our strategy and authority, I'll relate to human design with this. I'm a sacral generator, which means everything I feel in the body, everything that I say, I'm feeling it in my body. And self-acceptance is part of the grounding that's happening in the body. It's feeling safe within as much as it is on the head part of it. So for me, sitting in self-acceptance, that's sitting in a groundedness that's in here. It's in my gut, it's in my intuition. So it's felt as much as it is spoken, because I'm speaking, and this is where that shadow work goes. The shadow work isn't just about working through the shadow self or acknowledging the shadow self. It's about how do we feel in our body. It's about providing that safety within and learning to get grounded and learning where the danger, the intuitive hits. It's as much a body thing as it is a thinking, talking thing. Because when we do this work, and I think that's maybe the shift in itself, I'm totally skipping ahead, but when I look at the conversation, when people come into working with us, it's all in the head. They're disconnected and they're not feeling in their body. That's where they're out of step and out of self-acceptance, is that they don't accept the way they feel. They don't accept the intuitive hit. It's a lack of self-trust. And so for me, self-acceptance is felt as much as it is spoken, because I speak from a sacral urge or from a visceral urge. It's not just from what I think, it's from what I feel as well.
mm, yeah, I love that. Go ahead, Soph.
See, that's completely changed what I was going to say now, because I find that really interesting, because I'm a self-projecting projector. So I don't have that, that gut feeling bit at all. I don't, people say, well, how do you feel about it, and lean into the sacral and stuff. I can't do that. I literally have to like voice things. But I think for me, the kind of feeling it in the body, I can see a difference in my clients when, even in their posture, and after we've been working together for a couple of weeks, sometimes I'll watch back even from their first session and they won't be able to look at me in the eye, and they'll be hunched over, and a couple of months down the line they'll be sat up, their eyes are almost brighter. So it is something during that process where they're learning to accept themselves, that you can physically see it within them. And I just think that's amazing. I love it.
Mm, yeah, posture.
And I think for
Such.
me, I notice, but I do notice in my jaw when that's the main thing that I can feel. So when I'm like tense, that's the only feeling that I can relate to, is kind of like a tighter jaw.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely have physical ways to manifest all of this type of stuff. What about you, Ebony?
Got two things I feel like I want to share. So most people don't know this about me now, because I don't talk about it as much anymore, but I wrote a book a long time ago. It's been published for 11, 12 years, called Misfit to Maven. And in that book, I tell my story, and I then kind of share the 8 pillars of practice that I had that really transformed my life and that I used with my clients for 8 years. And at the beginning of that story and my life, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I couldn't hold my own gaze for more than 2 or 3 seconds without physically being sick. I had such disdain for my own body and for and the way that I saw it was me and my body. And people who know me now and who follow me on social media and see the things that I get up to see me spending a lot of time in a bikini or running around on a beach or posing in my underwear. And the version of me in I don't even know when, like in my teens and my 20s and my 30s, and it started at 11, would not believe the me and the life that I'm living now. And if I think back and I look back at the things I didn't do because I didn't want people to see a fat girl having fun, that was my own non-acceptance and judgment personified and embodied. And the journey that I went on that started with holding my own gaze and noticing one thing that I could accept. And for me, the difference between acceptance and resignation is huge. And in the pillars of practice that I have, before you can reach acceptance, you have to reach acknowledgement. And acknowledgement is the opposite of ignorance or ignorance. And otherwise known as denial, or like not acknowledging, right? Like not looking. And so I really went on this journey of, can I notice one thing that I like? And for the longest time, I started to unpick this belief that fat and beautiful were interrelated. So fat and ugly were interrelated, and like these things that I couldn't necessarily see. So there are thoughts that need to be addressed and shifted and played with and changed, or at least acknowledged and then accepted or shifted, or like the amount of belief work that I did of like, honestly, it was not like I believe or I am. It was I choose to believe that it could be possible to believe. Like that's where I started off with my mantras in the mirror. I choose to believe that it might be possible to believe that I am beautiful. And I would say that for a week. And then I would truncate it and truncate it and truncate it. And now I spend most days looking in the mirror being like, I'm so beautiful. And I mean it, because I know and accept that beauty includes flaws that I wasn't available for before. And I don't need to share the other thing now.
I love that. Beauty includes the flaws. I love that. I love that. So, when we're talking about this external validation, how do we help women and men move from this need for external validation towards an internal approval system like you just described, Ebonie? I mean, that took years of cultivating, if you will. But I always love to kind of end the show in a tangible way so that people can take something away from today's conversation and be like, I can start there. And each one of you is going to have something different. But if you had to give advice to a woman or a man whoever, whatever you identify as, if you want to take something away and start on your journey of radical self-acceptance, what would be the advice for them? What would you say? Soph, you go first.
I think for me, it would be either to look at your birth chart, your gene keys, your human design, any one of those, and actually just see it as your wiring rather than there's something wrong with you. Because I think when you just can see this is how I'm made, this is how I was born, and just accept it kind of that way. I think that was the biggest bit for me, is just seeing, what, these aren't flaws, this is part of me. And I think that was the biggest part of acceptance for me. And like I said, just having that compassion piece for myself.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, for sure. And Ebonie has a great link within her community and on her website. I don't know if you do as well, so where you can get your free chart. So if anybody's interested, that is definitely there as well. What about you, Terra Dawn?
Um, I'm gonna say yes to Soph. And what Ebony was talking about earlier, I actually made some notes off to the side because, it's interesting, what what was the external societal standard of beauty and truth and all of these things when I was in high school. I I was not the desirable. Now I'm almost 50 and my body type is actually desirable, where I have all the curves and all the things. And when we look at the self-acceptance, it's what's the truth about us. And this is the cool thing about human design. This is why I've embraced it in a way that I have, and listening to these other women that are in human design as well. As a generator, I'm meant to be doing many things. That was a piece where I had people trying to niche me down or narrow me down to one idea. That's not how I'm built. And this is how I'm wired. I'm wired in my astrological chart for depth. I am wired so me always being so intense it's like, no, this is how I'm wired. This is what makes me beautiful and makes me exactly me. And I get excited about it now. And before I used to hide it. So it's like, what is the truth about you? Well, the truth about me is I'm extraordinary and I'm fun and I'm funny and I'm witty and I'm sarcastic and I'm spicy and I have a pink sparkly soapbox that I like to stand on, and I'm all of these really amazing things. And nobody can dispute that, because I know that if they want to dispute it, that's more a reflection of them. So it's really asking that question and writing down, what is the truth about you? And allowing yourself to sit with that.
Yeah, Ebony and I had a really good conversation on one of our podcasts about that and how I would describe myself. And we had a good conversation about the word nice. And she said it's so beige, it doesn't describe it. And I said, that's okay. I'm okay with being beige. I'm okay with that. And anybody who would know me knows me. I'm just really a nice person. That's just how I come off. And anybody who describes me anything other than that, just has a different perspective, and they might have seen something different, and that's okay. And I love that. I love that I can have conversations with each of you and like thread them all through, because it's just so good. So good. So the truth about me is that I'm a nice, kind person. So I'll leave
You
with that.
really are. And the thing is, I'm not.
And that's okay. And that's what I love about you.
I just like, never tell me I'm nice. Like, nice in my household was a swear word. I'm like, no, I am not nice.
I'm
And
the
that
same. I'm with you on that, Ebony.
But I am not nice.
I love that. And that's so cool that we can come together, right? That we have compassion for each other and we love each other's perspectives. And it never is I have not had a horrible experience with any of you, right? That's what we need to show the world, is that we can be so radically different, and we are so radically different, but we can still come together. So what do you want to say, Ebony? What's your takeaway for today?
So my main program that you can interact with me and implement your design is called Embody Your Design, right? And there are three parts to this process. And the first part is about empowerment. Like, where is my power? Is my power within me, or is it out? Am I giving it to someone or a situation externally, right? The second piece is embodiment. What do I feel? Where do I feel it? And that might be an emotion, it might be a sensate, it might be a feeling, but it's really good to be able to put some kind of words or language to it, even, or maybe draw it or sing it or describe it in some way, because that really helps it be real, and you accept what it is and what it isn't. And then the third part is expression. And we can only be fully expressed when we are allowing ourselves to move that energy. And emotion is just energy in motion. And so if we can allow it to come out and be expressed, then we often, when I say something afterwards, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't need anything else now. I feel much better. I have a manifesting generator, right? I have a motorized throat, and once it's out of my throat, it's done. I'm like, oh no, I feel much. I don't actually need anything now. It's fully expressed, and that is a really important part of this acceptance process, is to understand how you work and what you need. And in that program, and everybody's heard me say so many times now, I want you to be secure in who you are, like what you described, right? The brags, but I also want you to be secure in your insecurities. Because the more secure you are in your insecurities, the more secure you are in what you are not or who you are not, the easier it is to find acceptance. If you're looking for somebody who's nice, I'm not your coach. If you're looking for somebody who's really good at the details and who's going to follow you up and hold you accountable, I'm not your coach. You want someone who's going to move emotion in you and help you see a different perspective. Come and spend 5 minutes with me. And like it's not bragging, it's just the truth of who I can be really secure in what I am and what I'm not, and what an experience with me will be and what it won't be. And I think that is how we find acceptance, is getting really honest with yourself. And most of us are avoiding, and we're in this avoidance of death, which is rejection. And we're also in this avoidance of living, which is being seen. And once we can move past this avoidance into the truth of who we are, that's where we find acceptance.
Mm. Wow. Well, here's the amazing thing for anybody who's watching today. And I was just telling Ebony before Soph and Terra got on, I said, oh, whoever shows up, I always trust who shows up. And now I know why it's just the three of them. We had two other guests who weren't able to be here today. It's because each of them is spending an entire year with us next year. Ebony is going to be helping you embody your design on a several week journey over the course of 2026. Soph is going to be helping you move through what are called schemas in psychology, or your frequencies and how you are attuned. And Terra Dawn's going to be doing shadow work with us. And so over 2026, if any of them or all of them resonated with you, guess what? We're going on a journey with each of them. And we have more that we're going on a journey with. But now I know why the three of them were here today, so that we could show you all the beautiful work that they do and how we are incorporating that into our 2026, which is going to be absolutely amazing. Thank you all for being here today. I truly appreciate you, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you.